Great fishing is not that far away. Welcome to Illinois Outdoors with Don Dziedzina.
How we doing, everyone? Don Dziedzina here for Illinois Outdoors. We are in Boulder Junction, Wisconsin, and we are going to do something today that I think you're really going to enjoy. You know, a lot of people come up to Boulder Junction to go fishing. Even though it is the muskie capital of the world, many people come here to catch the walleyes. But you know what? Many people sit back and wonder, what would be the best walleye? What would be a different way to make walleyes? You know, we are here at the Guides Inn in Boulder Junction, and it's really a great restaurant. Chef Jimmy Dean, he agreed to join us today and show us a couple of his secret recipes. Recipes that have been enjoyed in his restaurant for many, many years. He's going to show us how to cook up the walleyes, a couple of different ways. The stuffing, I mean the whole 9 yards right here at the Guides Inn. You know what? We got to get cooking, no pun intended, so we're going inside. Jimmy, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, Don. Nice to see you.
Here's the guy I was talking about outside, Chef Jimmy Dean. You know, he's the executive chef, owner of the Guides Inn, and we're going to do a little cooking today, aren't we?
We're going to cook up a storm bath.
What are we going to have? What are we going to have?
We're going to have stuffed walleye and pan-fried walleye, which is the #1 item on our menu.
All right, well, you know what? This is only a half-hour show, and I think it may take a half hour or so to just get all these different things made here. What's the first step? What are we going to start with?
We're going to start with making the stuffed walleye and getting it in the oven.
Okay. These are the fillets you have here?
These are a couple walleye fillets, and the first thing we have to do is skin the walleye, and I'd like to show the technique on how to do that.
Let's do it.
Alrighty. What I like to do is always bring the fish close to the edge of a cutting board to fillet it. If you fillet the fish in the middle of a board, your fingers are underneath the knife and the blade is at an angle. When you bring it out to the end, you pinch the tail, and the knife should be flat, putting the thumb right in the middle of the knife. Start it, and once you get it started, lift it up, hold the tail, and you pull, keeping the tip of the knife towards the back, and it will always come out picture clean, just like that. Okay, we don't need the skin. So to stuff the walleye, cut the walleye in half. We take the large end and the tail. Take our stuffing, take the scooper, and we're going to put one nice size scoop, fold it down on top of the large end. We're going to split the tail, open it up, wrap it around the stuffing. We're going to take a round pan with some parchment paper on it. We want to oil the bottom of this parchment paper. Set it down. Set the fish on top. We're just going to drizzle a little bit of butter or margarine on top. We're going to take some seasoning, some paprika, sprinkle it over the top. We're going to take some seasoning pepper, sprinkle that over the top, and that is ready to go in the oven. You oil the bottom so the fish does not stick. That's why we put the parchment paper on over the pan. If you put it on the pan, it has a tendency to stick. So we're going to put this in the oven right now. There we go.
Oh boy, you know what? That really looked pretty. That really looked pretty good, you know, and I'm kind of excited. You know, how long is it going to take?
That's going to take 13 minutes in the oven.
13 minutes in the oven. There's no turning it over or anything. You just,
no, you just put it in there. 13
done.
minutes is a done deal. And at home, you should be running at about 375 to 400 degrees in order to get it done. keeps the convection out and cooks a little bit faster.
I'll tell you what, that stuffing that you have really looked good. You know, could you kind of like explain to our viewing audience here, you know, how you make your stuffing here?
Absolutely, I'd be more than happy to. Okay, Don, what we have is the stuffing is a wild rice, walnut, cranberry stuffing. And what we have to do that is we make a Grandma's old recipe stuffing made from bread. We use half of her stuffing and we make a wild rice mixture and we combine them together and we put in the cranberries, the walnuts, the stuffing and rice combined together, and we put a hot chicken stock over the top and we just blend it together. So what we're doing is making half Grandma's recipe and half of the wild rice recipe. And what we need to do when we start the recipe, what takes the longest, is the wild rice mixture. And I use a bigger box, but you can buy the regular blend of like Uncle Ben's in the store. It's a smaller box, and just follow the directions. In addition to that, we take a couple cups of original wild rice that we get from Minnesota and add it to it so that there's more wild rice. Wild rice is indigenous to this particular area in the North Woods, and it goes perfectly with the stuffed walleye. So we cook the wild rice and the regular rice while we prepare the stuffing, so it's cooking on the stove. We take a regular bread that Grandma used, but I like to, instead of using all white bread, we make our own French bread with 50% whole wheat, and we cut it up into small cubes, lay it out on a cookie sheet or a larger sheet pan, and we cook it until it's like croutons. You could possibly buy the croutons in the store instead of making it from scratch yourself. The reason I don't like doing that, using pre-made croutons, they have other ingredients in it, the salt and things like that, and I just prefer making everything from scratch. So once we cut it up, toast it off, we take the wild rice mix and mix it with the regular wild rice plus the raw rice, and we take, while it's hot, we take chicken stock, pour it over the top of the croutons. On the side we've got chopped onions and celery diced up. We saute this in a pan, and while it's hot, the hot chicken stock, we pour it all over the top of the toasted croutons, and then we add our seasonings, which is a blend of salt, thyme, oregano, garlic powder, onion powder, and some seasoning pepper. We sprinkle that all over the top. We, just like at home, you mush that up like your stuffing to get it all worked in together. And then at the very end, as soon as that's mushed up, we take the wild rice, this is the wild rice that we cooked off from our Uncle Ben's. We dump that in, and we also dump in our cranberries. And we got about 2 cups of cranberries, and I've got 2 cups of chopped walnuts. That all goes in, and it's all in a bowl. And we just mix that all together until it's done. But you put that in your pan, put it in the refrigerator until it's chilled, because when it's chilled, it's easier to work with, and you can keep it in there for a couple days, and you're all set to go to stuff that walleye. Easy as pie, yes?
No doubt about it. Looks really good. It really looks good. This is what it turns out to look like. I put it right in the stuff. It's in the oven, you know, and I think, you know, what we're at this point right now, we're only got a couple more minutes before it's ready to come out of the oven.
Another minute, we can pull her out.
So why don't we take that 1 minute or so to take a quick break? We'll be back with more of Illinois Outdoors in just a moment.
Boulder Junction, Wisconsin is the muskie capital of the world, offering you a chance at a true trophy. But Boulder Junction offers more than just muskie. Fish for walleye, pike, bass, and panfish on 194 crystal clear lakes. If that's not enough to lure you to Boulder Junction, how about free bait? Just stop in the Boulder Junction Chamber of Commerce office and mention Illinois Outdoors. You'll receive a voucher good for free bait. Visit boulderjct.org for details. Start planning your Boulder Junction fishing trip today.
I'll fill you in on a little secret. The Heritage Corridor is your close-to-home destination for all sorts of great outdoor activities. Did you know the Illinois River in LaSalle and Grundy County offers the best sauger and striper fishing? The corridor also boasts excellent deer, turkey, and waterfowl hunting. Superb dining and lodging can be had at Starved Rock Lodge, right at the doorsteps to hiking trails, woods, and water. The Heritage Corridor Convention and Visitors Bureau, a great resource to Illinois' best-kept secrets.
Plan your outdoors vacation today in the Heritage Corridor and Illinois, mile after magnificent mile.
Grundy's Honker, the Central Zone's newest duck and goose hunting club, located in Graceville, less than a mile west of Braidwood's Cooling Lake, where the water never freezes. Grundy's Honker offers some of the best duck and goose hunting in the Chicagoland area. Enjoy your hunt from large heated pits and above-ground blinds in cornfields and next to water. Experienced guides will make sure you have a great time with hunting memories that will last a lifetime. Check out Grundy's Honker's website at grundyshonkers.com or call at 815-448-BANG. That's 815-448-BANG.
Franklin County in southern Illinois is home to beautiful Rend Lake. 19,000 acres of great fishing, hunting, and boating. Rend Lake Resort provides lodging and dining right at the water's edge. You'll find all the amenities for sportsmen, from guide service to fuel, bait, and boat docks. Nearby, Rend Lake Shooting Complex features skeet, sporting clays, 5-stand, and more. All accessible by paved cart paths. Let us entertain you, Franklin County and Rend Lake in beautiful southern Illinois.
If you have a boat, a big boat, a little boat, power boat, fishing boat, an inboard, an outboard, freshwater, saltwater, whatever kind of boat you own, you need to use Marine Formula Stable every time you fill up. Marine Formula Stable prevents corrosion caused by moisture in today's ethanol-blended fuels and cleans the fuel system to improve engine performance. Marine Formula Stable. Protect your fuel at every fill-up.
Hey, welcome back to Illinois Outdoors. I'm Don Dziedzina here with Chef Jimmy Dean over at the Guides Inn in Boulder Junction, Wisconsin. The muskie capital of the world. You know that, right?
I know that 100%. They've been catching muskies the last couple of days.
Yeah, actually, we have a few caught while we're up there ourselves. But you know what? The table fare that is probably most dominant up here in the North Woods is not the muskie. It's obviously the walleye. And that's what we're cooking today.
Absolutely.
You've set up a really nice looking walleye fillet, turned it into a stuffed walleye. It's been in the oven for about 13 minutes, and are we getting close?
We're all set to pull her out and ready to go.
Let's get it.
All right, I'm going to go and get her up. There is that stuffed walleye, Don. The first thing we do when we get that, I've got some, I like to take the hollandaise sauce and just put a dollop of hollandaise on that plate. Stuffed walleye now. This is why sometimes it sticks. That's why we like using the parchment paper. We set that on top. We always like to, one of the nice things that goes with that is some nice broccoli. Put some chopped parsley on top. Lemons. Parsley on the side to go out to the table. And the hollandaise underneath also goes with the broccoli. Voila, there you have it. It doesn't get better than that. What do you think of that? You like to dig in, don't you?
I think the hollandaise sauce is something as simple as that I could make.
Don, you make it.
I think as far as making the stuffed walleye, I could probably make that too. It looks like a fantastic plate. It plates up really nice, looks good, and everything else. But I understand that we're going to make another kind of, you're going to show us your #1 recipe here at the Guides Inn in Boulder Junction with the pan-fried walleye.
The pan-fried walleye is our #1 seller on our menu. We're in walleye country. We have 195 lakes. They come up here for walleye. We sell more walleye than any other thing on our menu.
Well, you know what? We're going to get into that. We're going to show you how to do that in just a moment. So let's take one more break. We'll be back with more of Illinois Outdoors at the Guides Inn in Boulder Junction in just a moment.
Seasons, Wildcat Lodge offers you an unequaled vacation experience with a variety of plans and options, including seasonal specials to fit your vacation desires. Enjoy tennis, swimming beach, horseshoes, basketball, nature trails, playground, and much more. Located 4 miles north of Boulder Junction, Wisconsin, on our 3 connected lakes. These are Class A musky waters with walleye, bass, crappies, and panfish. Come up, relax, enjoy, and make Wildcat Lodge a vacation memory you'll always remember.
Mercer, the loon capital, is home to the turtle flambeau flowage and Wisconsin's favorite outdoor playground. With over 377,000 acres of public land and 125,000 acres of water, Mercer is your go-to destination for fall hunting and fishing. In Mercer, Wisconsin, you're with family and friends. Make plans to visit Mercer today.
Hello, I'm Shannon Johnson, Executive Director for the Williamson County Tourism Bureau. This year, we are celebrating 25 years of promoting memorable travel experiences. Whether you favor the outdoors, sports, unique cuisine, wine, or just relaxing with the family, you can find it here in Williamson County. I'd like to personally invite you to come and explore a region full of adventures, wrapped up nicely with true Southern charm and hospitality. Can you picture yourself in Southern Illinois? We can.
Hey, welcome back to Illinois Outdoors. Don Dziedzina here with Chef Jimmy Dean over the Guides Inn in Boulder Junction, Wisconsin. I end up getting up here about 3 times a year. I get up here in the spring, I get up here in the fall, and I come out for the ice season. And we do our best to catch walleyes and stuff like that. And you know what? A vacation is not a vacation unless you get out to eat and stuff like that. And that's why we enjoy coming to Jimmy Dean's restaurant here, the Guides Inn. Because it's not a vacation for mom or for dad when they have to do all the cooking, they have to do all the cleaning afterwards and stuff like that. It's nice to get out every once in a while. Jimmy has explained that the fried walleye, the pan-fried walleye, is the #1 seller here at the Guides Inn, and it has been for many, many years. And Jimmy, let me step out of the picture here for a second, and why don't you show us how you make it?
Okay, we're going to start off and we're going to do the same thing we did last time. We have to take the walleye, bring it as close to the front as possible. We're going to start at the tail. We pinch the tail until we get a little skin and hold on to the skin. And we take that fillet right off of the skin. Isn't that nice? There's no meat left on there. Now we're going to take this walleye and we have to dust it. I call it dusting. It's not a breading. And we're going to lay it into this pan of a flour mixture that we make. It's flour and seasoning. And we pat it off, and what we're doing is we're drying it. You see that? It's not wet. And then we dip it into this egg wash, and that egg wash is a combination of 2 or 3 eggs. We pat this down, and some milk and water. See how that the egg wash helped that flour adhere to that walleye. We come over to our flat top or your pan at the house, and we hose it down, put a little oil on the top and bottom. Don't use it a lot. It's not fried. Pan fried, and we'll put a lid on it. I wanted to explain about the lidding, how important it is on the walleye. That is the secret of the walleye. When we put the oil on the bottom of the grill or your pan, and you put a lid over the top, here's what happens. There's moisture in the fish, and that moisture, when you put a lid on top, has nowhere to go, and it creates a steam. It wants to be released. And the top of this pan is very hot, and that steam hits the top and it pushes back down into the fish, and the oil that's underneath that fish, the steam goes to the bottom of the fish, and it actually pushes the oil, which is on this pan. Just visualize it under this pan, that the oil being pushed away from that fish. And as that fish, we lit it, we look at the clock, we let it on there for 5 minutes, a total of 10 minutes cooking time. But at 5 minutes is when we want to flip it. And when I lift this lid up, you'll see some steam come up. You want to flip it as fast as possible. You will notice that when I laid the walleye down, I oiled the grill first, and I put a swab of oil over the top of the fish. Now when I flip it, the oil that's on that fish is now going to be on the bottom. And the same thing is going to happen in the first process. The steam is going to take that oil and push it over. So I think I'm going to lift this up and flip it and put the lid back down, and you should be able to see some steam come up here. See the steam come off the top? Underneath, we flip it. See how nice and golden brown that is? And that's due, I'm going to cover it right away. That golden brown was due to the technique of the egg wash. You always have to dry a fish off or chicken off before you coat it and put it in the egg wash. That dusting will hold the egg wash to the fish, and then when you like double dip it, so it's flour, egg wash, and flour. Now in that flour seasoning, we add seasonings to that, and whatever seasonings you like, or you could buy a floured mixture at the store. You could even use panko breading. I mean, you could use a breading of some type if you wish. I don't like the crumbs on there. I do like the panko. But if you use a breading, you should dust it into the plain flour first, then an egg wash, and then maybe back into the breading. So this is why we use this technique for our walleye, and what makes it as good as what it is. Because we had that wild rice, I put some rice in the pan. Wild rice, I put a little water in, and this is what we do at night. Everything is done to order. Put it in the pan, turn on the heat with a little water, and we bring it back to life. Because the walleye is ready to come off. I'm just going to let that sit there. I'm ready to take this walleye off. We lift the lid. We always like to flip it back to the original side because this is the back and this is the curved side. Look at the coloring that you have on that. Isn't that beautiful? So we're going to take the walleye, put it to the plates. Okay. And on top of that, we always take a little, just drizzle a little butter on top of that, and then we take a lemon juice and squirt over the top. We're going to garnish that, chopped parsley, a couple of lemons, parsley for decoration on the side. Take that wild rice mixture that we just re-steamed, put that on the side. Now that wild rice pan-fried walleye is a Northwood dish. It doesn't get better than that. And that's why they keep coming back. What do you think of that, Don? Would you like to dig into that?
Look at these two dishes that we have here. My goodness gracious, they surely look good. They look like they've been made in a restaurant.
Well, thank you, Don. I think they look so good. They should be on a front page of Bon Appetit. The proof is in the pudding, Don, and I think you should try both of them just to make sure that they taste as good as they look. It's part of the job, Don. You have to do this.
It's one of those things you just have to do it. You would think I did a few too-many cooking shows if you looked at me a little too closely, but I'm trying to, yeah, I'm going to try it. Look at this. This looks great. We're gonna try it. Okay, this is the pan fried. This is the number one.
This is the number one seller.
The number one seller. Oh my gosh. Great.
What do you think? Light and fluffy. Nice caramelized skin.
It is not at all greasy. You remember you seen them putting some oil on the top. You seen them putting oil on the grill, and we had that lid on top, and that's the secret to push the oil away.
It's called lidding. Yep, lidding. We lid, when we cook on the grill, we lid just about everything. The chicken breasts are cooked on the grill. Smaller items like our veal dishes. Our veal dish is like our number two seller outside of the walleye. We sell more walleye and veal than anything, but the veal's so thin. We only cook it for 4 minutes, 2 minutes on the inside. It's real thin, and that we don't let because it's just 2 minutes on the inside. It's very, very fast.
I've got a piece of the breading that's on here. Not the breading, but
it's the dusting on top.
The dusting on top.
It's very light. Sometimes if you put the breading on, it's not crispy. With the steam, it gets kind of like a mushy, like a battered, deep fried battered. Sometimes when you go out for Friday night fish fry and it's battered, you get this coating that's like an 1/8 inch thick all the way around it. and when it gets cold, it's just kind of blah. You don't taste the fish. You know, with a light coating like that.
And this is the perfect size, wild rice. Wild rice. It's really good. It's really good. This basically is, and this is, I can see that there's some onions in here.
We do when we make our wild rice, like I explained earlier. We put the celery and onions into the wild rice because the rice is typically kind of soft. That's why, in addition to the blend, I take 4 cups of real wild rice, like in a long grain. You cook it separately. It takes longer to cook. But the wild grain rice has a more of a crunch to it. That's why we like to put the celery and onions in as well. So when you eat the rice, you took a nice forkful of that, and you crunch down. You're crunching on the onions, the celery, and that wild rice, and it has more texture to it than a soft white rice. The hollandaise sauce mixes in with the walleye and the stuffing, and it all blends together. It can be a little dry sometimes when you bake it like this, and that hollandaise sauce seems to add something with the fish to give it a little more moisture.
That's not the case today. I mean, this stuff is moist, it's tender, and I know the first thing that we cooked was the stuffed walleye. This walleye is very flavorful. What seasoning did you put on the walleye?
It's not the seasoning. All I put on top was a little pepper and paprika for the color. A little pepper on top. Most of the seasoning that's in there is in that stuffing. Does that taste, and we used oregano and thyme. If you didn't have that, you could use a poultry seasoning in there as well. Do you taste the thyme? Does that flavor?
Yeah.
And the oregano, all those seasonings come out?
Oh, it's just fantastic. And, you know, and again, combined with the hollandaise sauce.
But the cranberries, do you get the cranberries, the sweetness from the cranberries?
Like the walnuts.
And the walnuts with a little crunch?
This is great. You know what? We're just about out of time here. One more thing. I'm gonna put this down. When you come up to the northwoods of Wisconsin, if you come to the Boulder Junction area, the Guides Inn is right on County Elm. Can't miss it. Beautiful place. Has some history. Goes back many, many years where guides used to come to this restaurant to have their coffee in the morning and tell stories about the big one that got away. Jimmy has had this restaurant for many, many years. You have to stop here. You got to try it. Save at least one night to come over here, and then you know, after you dine here, you can say, "Oh, how could you beat that?" I'll tell you what. If you want to learn more about the Guides Inn, where they're at, you want their phone number and all that, just go to their website, theguidesinn.com.
Okay.
Here's where we're at. Boulder Junction, the Guides Inn. This is Chef Jimmy Dean. Thank you very much for inviting us out. You know, at the end of every one of the TV shows, I have the saying, great fishing is not that far away. Not today. Great eating is not that far away. Stop over at the Guides Inn. Till next time, I'm Don Dziedzina.
Thanks, Don.
This here is Chef
Appreciate
Jimmy Dean. Thanks for watching.